Well, according to the Kelley Blue Book, the average price of a new car hit an all-time high, and used car prices month over month were down 1.1%. Get this, $50,000 is the average cost.
That's about 93% more than the price of a used car, which will put you back $26,000.
What if I told you there are 7 Japanese SUVs out there? $10,000 cars with $40,000 reliability, and almost nobody is buying them right now. Not because they break down, not because they're unsafe, not because mechanics hate them. It's the exact opposite. These are the vehicles that technicians quietly recommend to their own families. The ones that reliability databases rank at the very top. The ones that rack up 200,000 miles on nothing but oil changes and basic upkeep. And they are sitting right now on used car lots, priced at a fraction of what they're actually worth, because most buyers walk straight past them without a second look. Take the Lexus RX 350. Most people hear Lexus and immediately think, out of my budget, too expensive to maintain, not for me. And that assumption, it's costing them thousands of dollars. Because the truth about what it actually costs to own one will completely change how you look at the used car market. So the real question is, how many of these deals have you already walked past without ever knowing what you left behind? What if Toyota built one of the most reliable crossovers they have ever made and then completely failed to sell it? That is exactly what happened with the Toyota Venza, and that failure is your opportunity right now. Here is the problem. Toyota could never solve. The Venza was too big for people shopping compact crossovers, too small for families who wanted a Highlander with a third row, too wagon-shaped for buyers who wanted a traditional SUV look. So it just sat on dealer lots collecting dust until Toyota finally pulled the plug in 2015. Never found its audience, never got its moment. But underneath all that awkward marketing is a vehicle that mechanics genuinely respect. Because the Venza is not some experimental Toyota. It is a Toyota Camry that grew up. Same platform. Same bulletproof 3.5-liter V6 that Toyota puts in the Camry, the Highlander, the Avalon, the Sienna, and the Lexus RX 350. That engine has been documented past 250,000 miles on nothing more than regular oil changes and basic upkeep. It is one of the most proven powertrains ever built, and you are getting it at Corolla prices because nobody recognized the Venza for what it actually was. Now, there is a 2.7-liter 4-cylinder option on some models. Skip it completely. At nearly 3,700 pounds, this crossover needs the V6 to feel right. Every owner forum says the same thing. Get the 6-cylinder and do not look back. For model years, your target is 2014 or 2015. The 2014 scores 4.76 out of 5 on owner reviews. The 2015 was the final production year, meaning Toyota had ironed out every single issue by that point. Stay away from 2009, 2010, and 2011. Those early models had steering column rattle, brake problems, and a faulty airbag sensor that triggered multiple recalls. RepairPal ranks the Venza 4th out of 26 mid-size SUVs with an average annual repair cost of just $444. That is less than a RAV4 costs to maintain. Both engines use a timing chain instead of a timing belt, which saves you $800 to $1,500 compared to belt-equipped competitors right off the bat. One thing to check when you go look at one. There is a small oil line connected to the variable valve timing system that can develop a pinhole leak. Pop the hood and look for any oil residue around the front of the engine block. If that line has already been replaced, that is actually a green light. Pricing on a 2014 V6 all-wheel drive with leather and a panoramic sunroof runs $9,000 to $12,000 right now. That same money gets you a base model RAV4 from the same year with a 4-cylinder and nowhere near the features. Lexus powertrain. Corolla money. and almost nobody knows it exists. The word Lexus scares most budget buyers straight back to the Honda aisle, and that fear is costing them thousands of dollars every single time it happens. Here is the number that destroys the myth completely. The Lexus RX 350 costs an average of $550 per year to maintain. That is less than a Honda CR-V, less than a Subaru Outback, and it is literally half the annual maintenance cost of a BMW X-5. The entire idea that owning a Lexus means paying luxury prices to keep it running is one of the biggest myths in the used car market right now. And it is keeping the price of the RX artificially low for every buyer smart enough to look past the badge. Here's the secret that Lexus owners already know. The RX 350 is mechanically a Toyota Highlander wearing a nicer suit. Same 3.5-liter V6 that we just covered in the Venza. Oil filters, brake pads, spark plugs, all Toyota priced. Any independent shop that works on a Toyota Camry can service a Lexus RX without special training or specialized tools. You do not need a Lexus dealer for anything, not for routine maintenance, not for most repairs, nothing. The real-world proof backs this up completely. A 2009 RX 350 with over 140,000 miles came through the shop for years of basic maintenance. The only things ever replaced outside of normal wear items were a set of struts and a sway bar link. That is it. Engine and transmission running like the day it left the factory floor in Japan. For model years, your target is 2008 or 2009. These are the final years of the second generation and the most refined with the fewest owner complaints. The 2009 won initial quality awards from J.D. Power. Owners routinely report 200,000 to 300,000 miles on basic maintenance alone. Stay away from the 2004 RX 330. That first model year had a nasty dashboard cracking issue where the material degrades in heat and develops deep cracks across the entire surface. It got bad enough that Lexus faced a class action lawsuit. The 2007 model is solid mechanically, but also carries significant dashboard complaints. On anything from 2004 to 2007, inspect that dashboard carefully before you hand over any money. There is also a critical difference most buyers completely miss. The older RX 330 uses a timing belt requiring replacement every 90,000 miles at $800 to $1,500, including the water pump. The RX 350 uses a timing chain that never needs replacement. That single difference saves you potentially $3,000 or more over the life of the vehicle. It also runs perfectly fine on regular 87-octane fuel. No premium gas required. That saves you another few $100s every year compared to any German luxury SUV demanding 91-octane or higher. Pricing on a 2008 all-wheel drive runs $7,000 to $12,000. A 2009 goes for $8,000 to $13,000. Genuine Japanese luxury with Toyota underpinnings for the price of a mid-trim Nissan Rogue. And the Lexus will still be running long after that Rogue's transmission has already given up. Here is a number that should completely change how you shop for a used SUV. RepairPal ranks the Mazda CX-5 number 1 out of 26 mid-size SUVs for reliability. Number 1. Its average annual repair cost is $447. That beats the RAV4. That beats the CR-V. That beats the Subaru Forester. And Consumer Reports named Mazda the most reliable automotive brand overall in their 2020 survey. Not Toyota, not Honda, Mazda. So why does almost nobody recommend this vehicle when someone asks what used SUV to buy? Because Mazda is a smaller company with fewer dealerships, less advertising, and a lot less word of mouth. People default to Toyota and Honda out of pure habit, not because those vehicles are actually better built, just because the names are more familiar. And that habit is the reason the CX-5 is still priced where smart buyers can actually reach it. The driving experience is something worth mentioning, because it is genuinely different from everything else in this price range. It is the only compact crossover that automotive journalists consistently describe as fun to drive. Precise steering, responsive handling. Back-to-back against a RAV4 of the same model year, the Mazda drives circles around it. That is not marketing language. That is just what happens when you actually put them on the same road. For model years, your target is 2015, or the 2016.5 mid-year refresh. The 2015 model fixed the early oil consumption issues that showed up in the 2013 and 2014 models and comes standard with the stronger 2.5-liter Skyactiv engine. The 2016.5 refresh added better sound insulation and an updated infotainment system. Mazda forum experts call it the best first-generation CX-5 you can buy. Stay away from the 2013 base model. It came with a 2.0-liter engine, making only 155 horsepower. For a crossover this size, that is genuinely slow. Early 2016 models, produced before the mid-year refresh, had LED daytime running light failures, costing $2,500 per pair to replace. Always verify recall completion paperwork on any 2016 before signing anything. One honest warning that matters depending on where you live. If you are buying in a northern state where they salt the roads in winter, crawl underneath before you buy. Mazda uses thinner paint than Toyota, and the steel corrodes faster in salt belt conditions. Significant rust underneath means you walk away and find a southern state example instead. This is the one area where the CX-5 falls short of a RAV4, and ignoring it would cost you. Maintenance is straightforward and cheap. Timing chain means no belt service ever. Oil changes run $50 to $80 doing it yourself. Fuel economy on the 2.5-liter all-wheel drive hits 24 miles per gallon city and 30 miles per gallon highway, with real-world owners consistently reporting 27 to 30 miles per gallon on the highway. Significantly better than the Venza or the RX. A 2015 model runs $9,000 to $12,000. A 2016 Grand Touring with leather, navigation, and a Bose sound system averages around $13,400. Number 1 reliability ranking in its class, under $13,000, and it is actually enjoyable to drive. Before we go further, if you want the complete breakdown of which cars to avoid entirely in 2026, I put together a free ebook called Avoid These 17 Cars in 2026. Depreciation data, reliability scores, the exact models mechanics see constantly. Link is in the description. Download it before you walk into any dealership. Now, back to the list. Most people shopping Honda go straight to the CR-V. It is familiar. It is popular. Everyone recommends it. And because everyone recommends it, the price on a used CR-V reflects exactly that demand. You are paying a popularity premium every single time. But sandwiched between the CR-V and the 3-row Pilot in Honda's lineup sits a vehicle that most buyers skip right past without a second look. The Honda Passport. And that is precisely why it is worth stopping for. The Passport was reborn in 2019 after a long hiatus, and it arrived built on the exact same platform as the Honda Pilot. That means you are getting Honda's proven 3.5-liter V6 paired with a 9-speed automatic. The same powertrain DNA that Honda has been refining for years. More cargo space than the CR-V. More ground clearance than a RAV4. Without the third-row weight penalty and price premium that comes with stepping up to a full Pilot. It is the middle option that Honda somehow forgot to market aggressively, and the pricing on used examples reflects that neglect perfectly. For model years, your target is 2019 to 2021. The reborn Passport arrived refined from launch, which is not always the case with a revived nameplate. The 2021 model is particularly strong, because it added Honda sensing across every single trim as standard equipment. Automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, all included regardless of which trim level you choose. One thing to check on early 2019, models specifically. Some owners reported transmission shudder between second and third gear. Ask for the full service history, and during your test drive, pay attention to any hesitation or roughness in that transition. If it shifts smoothly, you are in good shape. Here is what makes the Passport genuinely undervalued beyond just the price. Ground clearance sits higher than both the CR-V and the RAV4. If you spend any time on unpaved roads, gravel tracks, or light trails, the Passport handles it without pretending to be a truck. It is actually capable where those other crossovers would make you nervous. Reliability data backs the purchase up consistently. Strong owner satisfaction scores across model years. Lower depreciation curve than comparable Ford and GM SUVs in the same segment. Honda's V6 in this application has a well-documented long-term track record, and there are no CVT complications to worry about. A proper automatic transmission doing exactly what it is supposed to do. Pricing on 2019 and 2020 examples runs $18,000 to $24,000, depending on trim and mileage. Significant savings compared to buying new or stepping into a Pilot for the same 3-row capability you may not even need. The SUV Honda forgot to market aggressively, which left the price exactly where a smart buyer can still reach it. Say the word Mitsubishi to most used car shoppers and watch what happens. They shake their head, they move on. They remember the brand from 15 or 20 years ago when the reliability record was genuinely difficult to defend. And that memory is doing a lot of damage to their wallet right now, increasing the cost. Because the vehicle they are walking away from is not that Mitsubishi, not even close. The third-generation Outlander, running from 2016 to 2021, is the generation where Mitsubishi got serious. Tightened quality control, improved materials, reworked the powertrain calibration. The reputation that buyers are running from belongs to a completely different era of this company. And because most people have not looked at the actual data recently, the price on these vehicles still reflects that outdated fear. That is the buyer's advantage, hiding inside the brand name. The powertrain setup gives you a 2.4-liter 4-cylinder or an available 3.0-liter V6, both paired with a CVT. And before that CVT concern surfaces, it needs to be addressed directly. The CVT in the Outlander has a notably better reliability record than the CVT. Nissan puts in comparable vehicles. This is not the transmission nightmare that has made the Nissan Altima infamous on repo lots and repair forums. Mitsubishi's CVT calibration in this generation is smoother, better documented for longevity, and significantly less problematic when properly maintained. Here is what makes the Outlander disproportionately practical for the money. It seats 7. A genuine third row, not a token gesture bolted in as an afterthought. One of the only vehicles at this price point in the used market that gives you real 3-row capability without asking you to step into full-size SUV running costs. For growing families working with a real budget, that changes the entire calculation. For model years, your target is 2018 to 2020. These are the refined years of the third generation. Updated safety technology, improved CVT calibration over the earliest third-gen examples, and a noticeably better interior compared to where Mitsubishi started this generation. There is also something worth knowing that most buyers completely overlook. Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty on new purchases transfers partially to used buyers. Depending on the mileage of the example you are looking at, remaining powertrain coverage may still apply. That is a layer of protection that almost nothing else in this price range can offer. One maintenance item that is non-negotiable: CVT fluid service. If you cannot verify it was changed at the recommended interval, budget for it immediately before anything else. Some higher mileage examples also develop AC compressor issues, so ask specifically and test the system on a warm day. Pricing on 2018 to 2020 examples with all-wheel drive runs, $14,000 to $20,000. 7 seats. All-wheel drive. Remaining warranty coverage possibly still attached, at prices that three-row competitors simply cannot match. There is a specific kind of owner that buys a Subaru Forester and never stops talking about it. Not because they were told to, not because of a commercial, because they drove 1 to 200,000 miles and it just kept going. That kind of loyalty does not come from marketing. It comes from a vehicle that consistently earns it. The 4th generation Forester, running from 2014 to 2018, is where that reputation is most justified and most accessible on the used market right now. Every single trim comes with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive as standard equipment, not an upgrade, not an option you pay extra for. The baseline. For buyers in snow states, rural areas, or anywhere that sees real weather, that single fact changes the ownership calculation entirely compared to crossovers where all-wheel drive costs you another $2,000 at the dealership. Engine choice matters here. The 2.5-liter naturally aspirated flat 4 is the one you want. Proven, straightforward, and documented well past 200,000 miles with basic maintenance. Avoid the turbocharged XT variant unless you are fully prepared for higher running costs and a more demanding maintenance schedule. The non-turbo is where the reliability story lives. For model years, target 2017 or 2018. These are the final years before the 5th generation refresh, and they represent the most refined version of this generation. Updated interior, available EyeSight driver assistance technology, and improved overall refinement compared to the earlier years. If budget is the priority, 2014 and 2015 examples are available under $12,000 with reasonable mileage, and the core reliability picture does not change. One honest note on the head gasket reputation. Older Foresters, specifically pre-2011 models, had well-documented head gasket failures. The 4th generation resolved this. Do not let the older reputation push you away from a newer example that does not carry that problem. Cargo space is class-leading among compact SUVs of this era. More usable rear cargo area than a RAV4 or CR-V from the same years. Pricing on 2017 and 2018 examples runs $14,000 to $20,000. Standard all-wheel drive, 200,000-mile ownership stories, and cargo room that embarrasses the competition. The word Acura does to budget SUV shoppers exactly what Lexus did earlier in this list. It sends them straight back to the Honda aisle without a second thought, and that reaction is an expensive mistake for the exact same reason. Because underneath the Acura badge is Honda engineering. The same Honda 3.5-liter V6 platform, the same reliability DNA, and the same independent shop serviceability that means you never need to set foot in a dealership for routine maintenance. But the MDX brings something that neither the Pilot nor any other vehicle at this price point delivers in the same package. 3 rows of genuine, usable seating. Not the token 3rd row that some crossovers bolt in as an afterthought, where only a child can fit comfortably. A real 3rd row. And it comes wrapped in a cabin that feels significantly more premium than the price of admission suggests. There is also the SHAWD system, super handling all-wheel drive. This torque vectoring technology actively distributes power to individual wheels based on what the road is asking for. At this price point in the used market, that level of drivetrain sophistication is almost impossible to find elsewhere. For model years, your target is from 2010 to 2013 for the 2nd generation, and from 2015 to 2016 for the 3rd. The 3rd generation ironed out early 9-speed transmission complaints that showed up in 2014. If you go with the second generation, verify the timing belt has been replaced. It is due at 90,000 miles and costs $800 to $1,500, including the water pump. The third generation moves to a timing chain, so no belt service is ever needed again. One known issue on the second generation worth asking about is the variable cylinder management system, which can cause engine shudder when transitioning between cylinder modes on some examples. Ask specifically and listen carefully during the test drive. Pricing on 2010 to 2013 second generation examples runs from $8,000 to $14,000. Third generation, 2015 to 2016 examples run from $14,000 to $22,000. 3 rows. Torque vectoring all-wheel drive. Honda reliability underneath a luxury badge. At prices a new base Honda Pilot cannot touch. 7 vehicles, 7 different price points. 1 pattern running underneath all of them. None of these SUVs are overlooked because they break down. None of them are priced low because something is wrong with them mechanically. They are priced where they are because of confused marketing, smaller brand recognition, unfair badge fear, and the simple fact that most buyers never do the research. They walk into a dealership with a short list of familiar names, and they leave having overpaid for popularity instead of reliability. The Toyota Venza got discontinued because Toyota could not figure out how to market it. The Lexus RX gets avoided because the badge triggers a fear that the maintenance numbers completely destroy. The Mazda CX-5 holds the #1 reliability ranking in its class and still gets skipped because the name is not Honda or Toyota. The Honda Passport falls through the gap between 2 more famous siblings. The Mitsubishi Outlander carries a reputation that belongs to a different era of the company entirely. The Subaru Forester builds 200,000-mile loyalty and still gets underpriced because the years that matter most are not the ones people remember. The Acura MDX hides Honda reliability underneath a badge that sends budget buyers running in the wrong direction. Different vehicles, different reasons for being overlooked. Same result. The price stays low and the reliability stays high, and the buyers who did their homework walk away with something extraordinary. The used car market rewards research and punishes habit. Every time someone buys a RAV4, because that is just what people buy, they pay the popularity premium. Every time someone walks past a Venza or an MDX or a CX-5 without stopping, that vehicle sits a little longer and the next informed buyer gets it for a little less. That is the advantage sitting inside this list right now, but it will not last forever because these things never do. Before you walk into any dealership, download the free ebook. Avoid these 17 cars in 2026. The link is in the description. Read it first, then go negotiate. The deals are out there. Now you know exactly where to look.